of the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged.
Hello, and welcome to this performance of the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged. I have just a few brief announcements before we get underway. The use of flash photography and the recording of this performance, by any means, audio or video, is strictly prohibited. If you have a cell phone, please take this moment now to turn it off. And if you have a pager, you need to get yourself a cell phone.
Now, for those of you who haven't already heard, this show is rated 12 plus. So if you're in the theater with a child, we suggest you run now. Now, for your convenience, toilets are located in the bathrooms. Also, please take a moment at this time to locate the exit nearest your seat. Should the theater experience a sudden lack of pressure, oxygen masks will fall automatically. Simply place the mask over your nose and mouth and continue to breathe normally. If you're still in the theater with a small child, please proceed to placing your mask on first and let the child fend for themselves.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Isaac.
And I am Courtney Ross, and it gives me the greatest pleasure to announce we are about to attempt a feat we believe to be unprecedented in the history of civilization. That is to capture, in a single theatrical experience, the magic, the power, and the towering grandeur of the complete works of William Shakespeare.
This book weighs about 6 pounds, which means that we have to get through about 6 ounces every 7 seconds. That's like 2 six-packs a minute, so we better start drinking, right? Shakespeare, that is.
And no one knows more about Shakespeare and than the two people I'm about to introduce, some of the world's most preeminent Shakespearean scholars. They have certificates of completion from preeminentshakespeareanscholar.com. Here tonight to provide the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged with much needed preface, please welcome to the stage Miss Emily D'Amico and Bailey Underwood.
Thank you, Courtney, and greetings, ladies and gentlemen. William Shakespeare, playwright, poet, and actor, Stratford's proudest flower, transplanted from the heart of the English countryside to bask in the warmth of London's literary greenhouse. A man who, despite the ravages of male-pattern baldness, planted the potent seed of his poetical genius in the fertile womb of Elizabeth's England.
There it took root and spread through the lymphatic system of Western civilization until it became an oozing cargo of knowledge and understanding that grows even today on the very tip of our collective consciousness.
And yet, how well do we intellectually placid members of the 21st century truly appreciate the plump fruit of Shakespeare's productive loins?
How much?
Let's find out, shall we? May I have some chocolates? Now, you are a theater-going crowd, obviously of above average literary sensibility. And yet, if I may just have a brief show of hands, how many of you have ever seen or read anything by William Shakespeare? Any contact with the bard whatsoever, just raise your hands. Please. Why? Well, they're eminent Shakespearean scholars. No, preeminent.
Be preeminent.
Okay, all right. How many of you have ever seen or read All's Well That Ends Well?
Okay, well, let's see if we have any super eminent Shakespearean scholars here tonight. Have any of you ever seen or read King John? King John, anyone? How about neither of you? No? Okay. How about you? Have you seen it or read it? No? Okay.
What about you over there? Have you seen it or read it?
Well, I downloaded it.
Would you mind telling us what it's about?
It's about a hunchback.
No. King John is not about a hunchback. As any preeminent Shakespearean scholar could tell you, King John is about a king named John. Excuse me, sir, would you stand up, please? Ladies and gentlemen, H.A. Homo.
Hey!
Judging by your obvious lack of fluency in Latin, may I presume that you have not yet matriculated?
Not today.
Look at this man, ladies and gentlemen, abandoned by our educational system, awash in a sea of sexual ambiguity, hopped up on the empty kilobytes of virtual Viagra. And now, look at the person sitting next to you. Go ahead, look. Do you see there the same vapid expression? The same pores clogged with the acne of intellectual immaturity? Or do you perhaps see, no, keep looking. Do you see there a longing, a desperate plea for literary salvation?
No, go stand up there. Go on, ready? You stand there as a living symbol of a society whose capacity to comprehend, much less attain, the genius of William Shakespeare has been systematically sodomized by soap operas, breathed by reality shows, and violently violated by the women of the View.
Sit down now, please.
Just go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I say to you, cast off the cheap thrill of the car chase for the splendor of the sun. Exchange the isolation of the iPod for the gentle isles of the I Am. Imagine a world where manly men can wear pink tights with pride!
Hallelujah!
A brave new world where that book will be found in every hotel room in the world. Can I get an amen? Amen! This is our dream, ladies and gentlemen, and it begins here tonight. Join us on this our holy quest, our Shakespearean jihad. Can I get an amen? Amen! I mean everyone involved. Amen! Thank you, Jesus. And now, on with the show. And may the Lord be with you. But for those of you who own a copy of this book, you know that no collection is complete without a brief biography of the life of William Shakespeare. Here to present that portion of the show are some more members of the cast. Please put your hands together for some of Kaukauna's finest.
We William Shakespeare and found some really amazing stuff. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in the town of Stratford upon Avon, Warwickshire. The third of 8 children, he was the eldest son of John Shakespeare of Logan Robert Merchant and Mary Arden, daughter of a Roman Catholic member of the landed gentry. In 1582, he married a farmer's daughter named Anne Hathaway.
Different Anne Hathaway.
Shakespeare arrived in London in 1588. There he dictated to his secretary, Rudolph Hess, the work of Mein Kampf, in which he set forth his program for the restoration of Germany to a dominant position in Europe. After reoccupying the Rhine zone between France and Germany and annexing Austria, the Sudeland, and the remainder of Czechoslovakia, Shakespeare invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, thus precipitating World War II. I never knew that before.
Shakespeare remained in Berlin when the Russians entered the city and committed suicide with his mistress, Eva Peron. He lies buried in a church in Stratford, though his head is frozen in a holding tank in Glendale, California. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, without further ado, we are proud to present the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged.
All the world is stage, men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man at a time plays many parts. How many parts exactly must one man play?
Well, according to my calculations, there are exactly 1,122 parts in all of Shakespeare's works.
Way too many.
Take, for example, his most popular play, Romeo and Juliet. 2 passionate lovers, a meddling vital to the story. But Mercutio, Lady Capulet, unsightly fat on Shakespeare's otherwise muscular body of work. Let us therefore begin our shrinkage of Shakespeare's canon by rendering the gristle and blubber of his greatest romantic tragedy down to the tender, moist, underage flesh. Romeo and Juliet.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, wherein they are seen. From ancient grudge, great to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. Whose misadventure appears o'er those doing their death, burying their parents' strife.
Act 1, Scene 1. Behold two men in search of Romeo, for the Capulet Samson, to Montague Benvolio. Verona's fragile peace shall soon be undone, and tragedy begin with the bite of a thumb.
Oh, I'd like to log in on the table, Mr. Jason. This is totally got yourself on the case. Oh, it's him! I hate his families! I hate his dogs! I hate them all!
Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir, but about my thumb.
Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir, just about my thumb at you, sir. But I do about my thumb. You quarrel, sir.
Well, sir. No, sir.
But if you do, sir, then I'm for you. I shall look good as man as you.
No better.
Yes, better.
Mine.
Out of the money.
Yours, Capulet.
Rebellious subjects!
Oh, no, it's the prince.
Enemies to the peace, on pain of torture, throw your mistempered weapons to the ground and hear the sentence of your moved prince.
Buzzkill.
You, Capulet, shall go along with me. Benvolio, come here this afternoon to hear our farther pleasure in this case.
Brown nose?
Yeah, his ass.
Oh, where was Romeo? Saw you today? Right glad I am. He was not at this fray. But see, he comes. Good morrow, brothers.
Is the day so young?
But no sunlight.
I'm the son I will see Tom.
What's that that lives in Romeo's hours?
Not having thou which makes him short.
In love? Out of love.
Out of her favor where I'm in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, could be so rough and tyrannous and cruel.
Alas, that love whose muffled view is still, should without eye see pathways to his will.
Oh, go ye to the feast of Capulets. There sups the fair Rosalie, whom thou so lovest. With all the admired beauties of Verona, go thither and compare her face with some that I shall show, and I shall make thee think thine swan a crow.
None fairer than my love.
There's free food.
Oh, let's go on.
Hie me now to the feast of Capulet, where Romeo shall meet his Juliet, and there the scene of timeless romance.
Get in the Juliet's pants.
Oh, she doth teaches and tortures burn bright. In my heart's love unto now, for swear its sight. For I never sought your beauty until this night. If I profane with mine worthy as Helen, this holy shrine, this gentle fineness, listen. It's two blushing pilgrims ready to stand our oft touch with their tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hands too much, which manly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
And the lips do what hands do.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
They move not, nor my prayers effect I take.
Then from my lips, the sin that they have took.
Oh, trespass really urge, give me my sin again.
I don't want to kiss you.
It's in the script. So I fear. What are you doing?
The balcony scene.
What light beyond the window breaks?
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy power and refuse thy name. Wherefore thou hast not even sworn my love, and I'm no longer being captive. What's in a name anyway? That which we call the nose like any other name is just them. Oh, Romeo, doff thy name, and for thy name, which is no part of thee, take on myself.
Oh, Juliet, call me Bartolome, I shall be baptized. Henceforth, I will never be Romeo.
What did you just say?
Call me Bartolome.
Call me Butler?
Like Bartolome.
Okay, you're Butler. What man art thou? Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Rather, maid, I will be this love.
Dost thou love me then? I know thou wilt say I, and I will take thy word. Yet if thou swearest, thou mayst prove false. O Romeo, if thou dost love me, pronounce it faithfully.
You, my blessed Luna, I swear.
Oh, swear not on the moon.
What shall I swear on? Lady, by the blessed Virgin, I swear.
Oh, I don't think so. No. Do not swear at all. Although I join thee, I had no part in this conflict. It is too rash, too unimportant. Anyone can say it right. Sweet, good night. Sweet, good night. No, Mama, we're here.
Oh, will thou be so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction can this thou have?
Ooh!
I go first, and I go second. Good night, part with such sweet sorrow. Bye. Bye.
Though Romeo did swoon with love, by Cupid he was crippled, but Juliet had a loathsome cub, whose loathsome name was Tybalt.
Romeo, the law bearing can perform no other term than this. Thou art a villain. Therefore, turn and draw.
Tybalt, I do protest I never injured thee, but is that for me? I've never had to use one of these before. Where did thou catch your eyes?
Thou righteous boy, I implore you to promise life.
From Tybalt's step onward, so lovers are cursed, despite the best efforts of prior nurse. Their fate pursues them, they can't seem to duck it, and by the end of that 5, they both kick the bucket.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, and bring in cloudy night immediately. Come, civil night, come Romeo. Thou day and night, oh night, come, and bring me my Romeo. Is my nurse? What news, nurse?
Oh, dang! He's gone! He's dead! He's killed!
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo! Who would have thought it would be Romeo?
What devil art thou to torment me thus? Hath Romeo slain himself?
I saw the wound there in his manly breast.
was. Oh, Prime Lawrence! Romeo's vanished, and Tybalt is dead, and I've got the cramps and that not so fresh feeling. Will you help me, please?
Take thou this vial, and this distilled liquor drink, thou oft, and presently through thy veins you shall run a cold and drowsy humor.
Oh, that's weird. I feel cold and drowsy humor running through my veins. Obi-Wan!
Use the force!
Oh, suddenly I don't feel too good. I'm sorry. I feel much better.
Oh no, my love, my wife, death had sucked the honey of thy breath. Have no power upon beauty. Oh, Juliet. Why art thou so fair? This is to my love. Oh, true apothecary, thy drugs are quick. Thus, with a kiss, I die. Thus, with no kiss, I die.
Oh, good morning. Where is my love? What's this? A cup enclosed in my true love's hand. Poison I see him when his time is dead. Oh, true, drunk all and left no friendly drop to help me after. Then I'll be brief. Oh, happy dagger, this is my sheep. That's Romeo for you.
Okay, we spent way too long on Romeo and Juliet, but it is a classic. Unlike our next piece, which Shakespeare wrote as a 24-year-old starving artist, desperate for a hit, but too poor to know where his next banger was coming from.
No surprise, an obsession with food dominates his first tragedy, the primitive revenge drama, Titus Andronicus, which we now present as a cooking show. I love that.
Hi everyone, my name is Titus Andronicus, and welcome to The Going Gourmet. Now, when you've had a lousy day, your left hand chopped off, your son's murdered, your daughter raped, her tongue cut out, and both her hands chopped off, well, the last thing you want to do is cook. Unless, of course, you cook up the rapist and send him to his mother at a dinner party. Lavinia and I will show you how. Good evening, Lavinia. How are you doing today?
I have my call pop. I have my hand pop. He left me!
Well, that's a shame. But we'll get our revenge, won't we? Up you go. Right there. Now, hold a minute. I will grind your bones to dust, and of that dust in it will make a paste, and of that paste the coffin I will wear, and make a pot pie of your shape of head. Come to me, receive the blood. Now, first we want to make a nice, clean incision from carotid artery to jugular vein, like so. We shall use a big bowl for this because the human body has about 4 quarts of blood in it. And when that tea is dead, which should be right about now, we will grind his bones to powdered dust, and with this hateful liquor temper it, and in that paste let his vile head be baked. About 350 degrees. And 40 minutes later, we will have this lovely human head pie. Which, of course, I prepared earlier. I even chopped up some lady fingers for dessert. Now, who will be the first to try this delicious, high-protein treat? You. Oh, come on, let's set it up. You. Welcome, gracious Lord. Welcome, good queen. Will it please you eat? Will it please you eat? It's finger licking God! You don't have any hands. Can we wash these? Well, looks like we're out of time. Be sure to tune in next time when we'll see some older Athens and a medium take on the Greek salad. So good night, Lavinia. Close enough. Good night, everyone.
Disgusting. But, inexplicably, it was the greatest hit of Shakespeare's lifetime, which allowed Shakespeare, who was now filling his sausages, to expand his artistic horizons. For example, compare the immaturities of Titus Andronicus to the complex subtleties of the human condition, revealed in Shakespeare's dark and brooding tragedy, Othello, the Moor of Venice.
Speak of me as I am, and nothing exaggerates of one who loved not wisely but too well. For never was there a story of more woe than this of Othello and his Desdemona. Oh, Desi!
Lights, please! We're sorry about this. It seems that Mike, securing the infallibility of the internet, has Googled the word Moor and determined that it's a place where you tie up boats.
I didn't Google it. I wiki it.
Lose the boats.
Fine.
So ignorant.
So, what exactly is a Moor?
Well, interestingly enough, this is the subject of a blazing scholarly debate. For Elizabethans, Moor would refer either specifically to the Berbers of North Africa, or more generally to any people of sub-Saharan African descent.
So, what?
You mean African American?
Doesn't look like they listen to Italy.
Okay, so he's African Italian then.
Maybe we just turn to blackface?
What? Are you trying to piss off Obama? No. Today's entertainment culture expects sensitive, ethnically appropriate casting. If Othello's African Italian, we can't do it without a genuine, grand-spouted, spaghetti-loving homeboy.
Oh, hey! just gotta get a beat going.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and
If we're gonna do this, we need to get like a real beat going. Look up.
Here's the story of a brother by the name of Othello. He likes white women and he likes limoncello.
Yeah.
And the punk named the Apple made so perfection as he danced like a fountain, more of that.
Now, don't that very thing that's been looked up.
But he took up to the woods and he left her alone. He left her alone.
He didn't try to let her in and tell us what
And Jesse loved the fellow because he had a big sword. He said, "Jack before."
Are you going to do it? Well, that's too long. Nobody to attack the road. So I found a trouble about it in the country. And he plans on saying this to the
So I'm telling you, the word just made me in. Well, I better fight you.
our daddy and cat, please bring us
So he come back home, man, trying to live white.
They need to keep a lid on who we know what's right.
Doesn't hear me at the door. Cut it back off. Said, yo, I'll be here. Whoa.
She was. So why do you have to go and make a face for her blue?
It's true.
You? Now what you gonna do?
And Othello say, this is getting pretty
So
serious.
they pull out and say, start committing their Jerry.
Do you laugh up, hey boy? Hey, white
Who's Todd Wooding got his own TV?
Show that is.
Desperate houseboats.
Like the comedies.
Right. Now, Shakespeare's comedies were greatly influenced by the Roman plays of Protestant parents, Ovid's hilarious metamorphoses, and the rich Italian tradition of commedia dell'arte. Shakespeare was a genius at borrowing and adapting the different plot devices from these theatrical traditions.
Isn't that plagiarism?
Shakespeare didn't plagiarize, he just stewed.
Whatever, he's still a big cheater. Hey, it takes a genius to milk 5 ideas into 16 plays. Yeah, but I can never really tell them apart. Like, what's the one with the shipwreck, and the twins, and the big wedding at the end? All of them. You see, that's not good.
Well, Shakespeare obviously should have written one exemplary play instead of 16 subjects, which is why I have taken the liberty of condensing Shakespeare's comedic diarrhea into a single well-formed lump of hilarity, which I have entitled The Comedy of Two Well-Measured Gentlemen Lost in the Merry Rise of Venice on a Midsummer's 12th Night winter, or
Cymbeline taming Pericles, the merchant in the Tempest of Love, as much as you like it for nothing, or...
Four Warnings and His Transvestite!
Act 1. A Bohemian Duke swears an oath of celibacy. Turns the rule of his city over to his tyrannical brother, and sets sail for the golden age of Greece. While rounding the heel of Italy,
Buongiorno!
the Duke's ship is caught in a terrible tempest. That casts him up on a desert island, along with his sweet, innocent, and clueless young daughter.
Oh, dear father, I am so lonely and pubescent on this island. I am sad. Ooh.
Kate, waiting for merchants.
Kate! Bye-bye! Meanwhile, the Duke's long-lost son, a handsome, dashing, and clueless young merchant, is also shipwrecked.
Whoa!
Coincidentally, on the very same island.
How I survived in this foreign land without any funds? I must needs find me an old Jew. Look! Here comes a Judeo-Italian stereotype hacker himself! What's the matter, you payday loan?
The wicked Jew tricks the merchant into putting down his brains as collateral on the loan.
Such a deal!
Act 2. Fearing ravishment, the clueless young princess disguises herself as a boy. You'll be easy. And becomes engaged to a handsome, dashing, and clueless young soldier.
Oh, that's me. Come on, boy.
Yes?
You shall deliver this letter to Olivia for me, for she is Jewish, and I am sick of love.
I understand, for while I may not speak it aloud, I do love thee. Though I am a fool.
I swingeth not that way, boy. Deliver this letter to Olivia for me. Go, hence.
Whence?
I be headed from hence to thence.
Act 3. The beautiful, virginal, and clueless young princess arrives in Mandrag to woo the Lady Olivia.
It is I, the witchy shrew, Olivia. You, come hither. Whither? Hither from thither. Come in, I'll show you my zither.
Act 4. On the 12th night of midsummer, a puckish sprite leads a group of lovers deep into the forest.
Hey, guys, over here!
And squeezes the aftertaste juice from a chromatinid flower in their eyes. While the queen of the fairies seduces a rude mechanical who has the head of an axe.
You know I lay this stars tonight, night divine today. Trying to run, trying to hide, run on you to the other side.
Act 5. In the ensuing animalistic confusion, the princess's man clothes get ripped off, revealing a smoking hot female bod. The merchant recognizes his sister.
My nearly identical twin!
My long lost, strangely attractive brother. The shrew realizes she's no longer the most attractive person in the room. Oh, shrew you! The two exits pursued by Bear.
Oh, you're back!
And they all get married in the state of Massachusetts.
Nope, actually, that's the electric right now.
And go up to dinner. Now give us your hands if we be friends.
Because all is well that finally ends. Thank you.
I had no idea that Shakespeare was such a perv. 16 plays in 5 minutes, though, that's not bad. But if we want to get you guys out of here before midnight, I suggest we head back.
to the tragedies.
Interestingly enough, we have discovered that Shakespeare's comedies aren't nearly as funny as his tragedies.
That's so true. You know what's funny? The Scottish play.
Oh, yeah.
No!
What can I say?
It's cursed. It's bad luck to say the name of that play in the theater unless you're performing it. That's why we refer to that as the Scottish play.
We are performing it, right? And besides, there's nothing remotely Scottish about it.
It's all in the performance, Isaac. It needs to be done so you can see the heather rippling in the highlands, feel the cool summer breeze wafting up your kilt, and smell the vomit steaming in the alley outside the pub.
Right! Ladies and gentlemen, let us present to you our authentically Scottish version of Macbeth.
No man of one born shall harm.
Stay here, perfectly speaker. Tell me more.
Double toil and struggle, a burden would come to do something.
Oh, that's deadly. Then we put the guy make 6-piece McNugget with feet of the dog.
See you, Jimmy. And look, let me back to his mother's unkindly. What do you think about that?
Oh, I do not like it. Where I was blessed.
Macbeth, you murdered my wife, you murdered my wheat bodies, and you did poop in my soup! Oh, I didn't hear I could get out to hospital with it!
Here lies you servant's first head.
I'm expecting on the windy!
And more, that there was never a story of more blood and death than that of Mr. and Mrs. Macbeth.
Thank you! Meanwhile, in ancient Rome, Julius Caesar was a much beloved tyrant.
Hail, citizens!
All hail Julius Caesar, who was born by a soothsayer. Beware the Ides of March! The great Caesar, however, chose to ignore that warning.
What the heck are the Ides of March?
The 15th of March.
15th of March?
Oh, that's true.
Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to marry Caesar. So, marry, let's get on the Bible. Anthony?
And Cleopatra. What's this? Is this an ass by city for me? Come, venomous wretch.
Aaron.
Well, they seem pretty into it.
Aaron, Antony, Cleopatra has nothing to do with gastrointestinal distress. It's an exciting, trans-global thriller about political maneuvering across the ancient Mediterranean.
Oh, so it's one of Shakespeare's trans-global plays? I love those. Like the one that totally predicted 21st century wireless communication.
What?
Yeah, it was called Two Mobile Kinsmen.
Oh, great. Shakespeare wrote a play called Two Noble Kinsmen.
Not two noble kinsmen.
Two noble kinsmen.
No, it was definitely noble because the two kinsmen were Bill Gates and Steve Jobs.
The two kinsmen were cousins who fell in love with the same woman.
Oh, and they're like texting her, OMG, or BFF, LOL.
No.
Oh, well then I've never even heard of that play.
Well, that's because Two Noble Kinsmen falls into the category of Shakespeare's plays, which are neither tragedy, history, nor comedy, which some scholars refer to as the problem plays, or in some circles, the obscure plays, or the lesser plays, or simply the bad plays.
Yes, not all of the bad plays are completely without merit. In fact, one of them, Charles impressed us hardly crap at all. I actually discussed in my unpublished script about William Shakespeare entitled, I Love My Willie. Oh, you guys love it. It's big, it's long, and I've been working on it for years. In fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to pull it out right now. Script.
What else do you keep in your hands?
Second this? I want
But hey, maybe we could improvise an interpretive dance performance art version of your, thingy.
I love interpretive performance art. It's so pretentious.
Oh, no, I was definitely thinking of a more straightforward and scholarly approach.
Nah, screw that.
You read and will interpret.
Okay. Well, let's see. Troilus and Cressida was written in 1603, published in Quarto in 1604, and appears in the first folio. Although this version is some 166 lines longer than the second Quarto edition of 1645, which is some 166 lines shorter. Hey, Isaac, isn't there anything about the plot in here?
Plot? Of course I covered the plot. It's right here on page 29. Alright. Troilus, youngest son of Priam, king of Troy.
Okay, you be Troilus, and you be the king.
Okay, great. Loves Cressida and is arranged with their uncle for a meeting. Although she feigns indifference, she is attracted to him.
I have to feign indifference?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Agamemnon, the Greek commander, has surrounded the Trojans.
Agamemnon?
Boring! See, this is the kind of stuff that kids fall asleep in school to. As soon as Agamemnon, I was asleep. No, I'm sorry guys, but I promised them I want to dry, boring, bottomless Shakespeare.
You don't even know these people.
That's not true. When I was out there, I bonded with each and every one of them, and now I care about each and every one of them. There's Lillian, who came here across town on a bus, and Jennifer, who has a test on Monday that she hasn't studied for, and little Jimmy, who thought he was going to see Wicked, but feels totally ripped off. That's Milwaukee.
What's your point, Carson?
My point is, I love these people, and I don't want to get turned off to Shakespeare. That was me. When we were in school and we were learning Shakespeare, I'd be looking at the kids playing ball outside and thinking, why can't this Shakespeare stuff be more like sports? Don't stereotype me!
How do you mean?
I mean, sports are exciting, engaging. Take the history, for example. Any one of them. With all those kids knocking each other down, running up and down the field, the throwing pass from one guy to the next, it's exactly like football. But you do it with crime.
You're having a similar thing.
I got a whistle here.
That 14th century monarch, he's fading back to task looking for an heir downfield.
Oh, that's a heavy roster. Big job.
The crowd
crowd is in the air. My girls first things down.
And Henry VI comes up with it.
Victory is mine!
Oh, he said immediately like King John. Oh no, he's cutting him into 3 parts. That's gotta hurt.
This could be the end of the War of the Roses cycle.
Oh, is King John is in the clear?
My soul hath elbow room!
He's at the 40, the 30, the 20.
Oh, he's poisoned by the 10-yard line.
Replacing him now is number 72, King Lear.
To bring it on hand on my feet and put it in the
That's Parker, fitness mechanics on the field. There's qualified, and he's not happy about it.
Lining up now is that father-son team of Henry IV and Prince Hal.
Quarterback. Oh, looks like Richard III is getting in trouble.
A horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Ooh, there's a pile about the field.
Uh-oh! Ooh, it's gonna be a noisy game. And Henry VIII comes up with it.
He's at the 15. He's at the 10.
He stops at the 5-yard line to cut off his wife's head. Who's your daddy?
Beginning of a Tudor dynasty.
All right, girls. 5, 6, 7, 8. Henry V, Richard III. This whole royal family is really absurd. Go!
Can I get some house lights, please?
Isaac, what are you doing?
I'm just looking at the list of plays. I think we might have done them already.
Wait, really?
Yeah, see, we did all the histories just now.
The comedies were a lump of hilarity.
That leaves the tragedies. We did Titus Andronicus with all the blood. Romeo and Juliet we did.
Julius Caesar, Troilus and Cressida, right?
We wrapped Othello.
King Lear was in the football game.
And Macbeth we did with Scottish accents.
What about Anthony and Cleopatra?
Yeah, Aaron could done all of them.
Yeah, Timon of Athens we mentioned. Now how about Coriolanus? Let's skip it.
Why? What's wrong with Coriolanus?
She doesn't like the anus part. I think it's offensive.
Fine. Then we'll skip the anus play.
So that's it. That's all of them, right? Yeah.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we can let you guys out just a little bit early tonight.
Hold on a second, guys. Please, what? Hamlet?
Isaac, isn't that your new part?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Shakespeare didn't write Hamlet. What?
Sure he did.
What's it about?
You know, it's about the son who's struggling with his conscience after his uncle murders his father.
Dude, that's the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, 36th place town and 1 to go. Possibly the greatest play ever written. A play of such lofty poetic and philosophical.
Guys, wait. Hamlet is a serious hardcore play, okay? I'm just not. I don't feel like I can do it justice, okay?
What do you mean, Isaac? It's the last one.
I know. Just the football game left me physically and emotionally drained, and I'm not feeling up for it right now.
We don't have to do it justice. We just have to do it.
I don't want to do it, okay?
Isaac, our show is called The Complete Works of William Shakespeare.
Fine. Then we'll call it The Complete Works of William Shakespeare, except Hamlet.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Here, Isaac, don't you think that all your new friends would love you to do Hamlet? What do you guys say? You want to see Hamlet?
Fine, we'll do Hamlet. Without me, they're my friends. We'll watch it together.
Isaac, I'm not.
No!
Isaac!
Don't let go! You're the only thing I love in the world! Fine! Don't touch me.
All right.
Come on. Come on. Let's go.
Isaac, stop.
Let's go.
Isaac! Isaac! Oh! I'm sure they'll be back soon. Just, I think he's back. Up until that time, now, do some jumps. Okay. A horse walks into a bar. Oh, God, lights. Okay. And the bartender says, "Why the long face?" Thank you. It's kind of funny. I had this dream last night, typical actor's anxiety, where, we're actually doing this play. There's one perfect